How's it going, ballers? It's Jack here, back for another edition of Talking Ball, the only place on YouTube where you get both NBA and NFL draft coverage. And without further ado, let's get right into this Big 12 watch list for the 2018 draft. I've got 22 players here picked out, ranging from guys who, are going to go in the lottery to guys who are going to be in the fringes of being drafted. So we're going to go by teams here. This time I did it more by, who has the better prospect, more intriguing prospects than by alphabetical order. And so with that, got to kick it off with Kansas. They've got a plethora of prospects. And my favorite is Devontae Graham, the senior point guard who's getting the chance to handle the ball on a full-time basis. Now with Frank Mason gone, he's a tremendous playmaker, averaging over 8.5 assists early on this season. Good shooter, good defender, lot to like. I think he has a potential as a backup as his floor at the next level. Next up, Svi Mikhailuk, as a senior at age 20, 6'8", 205. He's a shooter who has progressed immensely the last 2 years. I guess it helps that he's no longer a 16-year-old freshman. But, he's finally come around. There's a lot of hype around him when he first came to Kansas, but now he's really fulfilling that hype and delivering. Gerald Vick is a junior, a guy who I really liked but wasn't on the national radar until the start of this season. And as an athlete, a guy who has really exploded as a playmaker this year and has been a good three-point shooter. There's a lot to like about Gerald Vick as a 3-and-D potential player. Udoka Azubuike, the 7-foot behemoth. As a sophomore, he knows his role. He finishes with efficiency. Free throw shooting and mobility are definitely question marks, but there's definitely some reasons to think this guy's an NBA type player. Last up, you got pair of guys who have more questions than answers, I would say. Malik Newman's a redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 190, highly touted as a transfer. Came into Kansas this year. He's going to look to show that hype was worthwhile initially. But we'll see if he can deliver. It's going to be tough for him, I think, with so much surrounding talent. And then Billy Preston, where is he? McDonald's All-American. There's this incident with the car. He hasn't been able to play. So there's definitely question marks about him. He's been MIA in the beginning of the season. So we'll have to see what he looks like when he finally gets out onto the court. Moving on to Big 12 rival Texas. Big man Mohamed Bamba obviously is their premier NBA prospect. 7-footer, 225. Defensively more developed than he is offensively, but the shot blocking, the potential to be as well, the shooting that he possesses, the potential at least for the shooting, has a lot of scouts enamored with the potential for the shot blocking and three-point shooting that is the new vogue at the center position. And he definitely possesses the skills to potentially get there. We'll see if he can develop his, there's definitely some question marks in terms of offensive IQ, motor on that end of the court as well. But the shot blocking, the defensive instincts are definitely there for Bamba. Kerwin Roach is a tremendous athlete at 6'4", 180, but he needs to develop that jumper. He needs to be a more consistent defender to have a chance at the next level. Dylan Oskatowski, if I said his name right, the redshirt junior transfer from Tulane. I really liked his game against my Blue Devils. I thought he had, good IQ, good passer, well-rounded basketball player for sure, and has a chance probably next year, not this year. And then Andrew Jones is a guy who entered the draft process this past year, came back to school. Will look to show, he needs to just show one trait that he can say, this is going to be what I will do at the next level. Because right now, he's a good scorer. He's a playmaker at times, not a great defender. There's just, what is he going to do that's going to separate him at the next level? Oklahoma. You guys have heard about Trae Young by now. He's been phenomenal early on this season. Explosive. 43 points against Oregon. I've never seen a freshman put up the numbers that he has early on this year. And he's been doing it as a playmaker as well, racking up quite a bit of assists for Oklahoma. And he didn't come in with a lot of hype, so it's definitely surprising. And Kadeem Latin, as a senior, shot blocker, has improved his scoring around the basket. Just a guy to keep on your radars in the 2018 draft class. Now, Baylor, starting off there with Joe Lual Akul Jr., the senior shot blocker, transferred in from JUCO, had to sit out a season with a heart issue. And, I like his shot blocking ability, but on offense, he's inefficient. And that's definitely a red flag to me, because when you are playing with that size, you should be a 60% shooter on the offensive end at least, especially for a guy who doesn't have much skill. And so he should be, he should know his role and finish at the basket. It doesn't appear that he's been doing a great job at that. Similarly, when you look at their other big-time, NBA prospect, if you will, here, Manu Lecomte, redshirt senior transfer from Miami, who's been there a couple seasons now. He's a good scorer, but he's not an efficient one, and that definitely is a concern for me, because at the next level, I don't know what he will do that separates him. So, at the same time, some guys who are inefficient scorers in college are just because they have to be, and that's definitely partially the case here for Lecomte. There's not a ton of other scoring talent at Baylor right now, so that's definitely having a drag on his efficiency numbers, but still raises questions as to whether he can do it at the next level. And King McClure Jr., he's got good size at 6'3", 215. He's improved this year, but I think he's got a cool name, and so I threw him on the list as well. And he's definitely a fringe level prospect for sure. West Virginia, this is one of my favorite prospects, guys. Javon Carter, senior, guard, 6'2", 205. He's a defender first. He has elite hands. Elite hands. I'll say it again. Elite hands. He's up over 4 steals right now. It's early in the season, so that number will probably drop. But he's been consistently a pest on the defensive end of the court, and he's improved each year on the offensive side of things. And so therefore, I think the very worst, you're looking at, a backup who's going to come in, affect the game on the defensive end of the court, and manage it well on the offensive side. Now, they have a couple other prospects who are at least worthy of mentioning at West Virginia. Dexter Miles Jr., I think, is more well known for what he said to that undefeated Kentucky team that didn't end well for him, but he's turned himself into a solid prospect and a guy who will probably be around for the summer league, but then will probably either go, to the G League or overseas to play his professional ball. Now, the guy who's more intriguing than Miles is Sagaba Donate, in my opinion. The sophomore, 6'8", 260-pound forward has a lot of tools that, have you excited, and it's coming. It's coming together for him, and, he's up to 3 blocks this season. They're playing him more minutes, up over 20 minutes a game. There's a lot of tools. There's a lot of potential athleticism with Donate that you got to think, maybe not this year, but maybe next year or as a senior, where he's going to be in that draft class mix whenever he decides to declare. Iowa State has Nick Babb, a redshirt junior, younger brother of Chris Babb. He's emerged as a three-point shooter and playmaker for Iowa State early on this year. And, as a guy, definitely keep on your radars. There's always guys like this who pop up after having not done much early on in their careers, and then they end up making impact at the next level. Babb could be one of those guys this year. Oklahoma State. 2 guys on Oklahoma State for you guys to keep on your radar. First off, Jeffrey Carroll. He's their leading scorer at 6'6", 220 as senior. Shooting needs to improve for him to have success at the next level, but he's a solid athlete. Definitely will be around for the process. Cameron McGriff, sophomore, 6'7", 220. Another swingman there. He, on the other hand, is a great athlete. He's got a sick name, again, in my opinion. And, there's potential there with McGriff. Maybe not this year again, but as a senior, when he does declare, or a junior if he takes off next season, there's that talent, there's the athleticism that says as a wing, he could emerge as a 3-and-D type guy if the shot improves. Lastly, finally rounding up this Big 12 watch list, you have TCU's Kenrick Williams, the senior, 6'7", 210-pound swingman. He's a stat sheet stuffer. He's got good hands defensively, and he's got a chance at the next level as a 3-and-D type wing. But again, the shooting may hold him back. But that's it, guys. That's what I have for my Big 12 watch list. Kept it under the 10-minute mark as I tried to do. Let me know what you guys think about the Big 12 prospects. Who do you like this year in the 2018 draft class? That's it. That's it for me. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm out.